The readings we have for this weekend on the first Sunday of Advent as we begin a new church year are similar in themes to the ones we've had for the last couple of weeks as we ended our church year. Both at the beginning and at the end of our church year, our readings focus on the end of time. These end-time readings often remind me of the time when I was a sophomore at St. Meinrad College. There was a church in Evansville at that time that was predicting the exact date and time for the end of the world. It was going to happen at 3 o'clock in the morning on Friday, October 12th, 1979. And when it happened, they told us those who were saved would be transported into heaven, and all that would be left here on earth would be their clothing. I guess you don't need Levi's in heaven. So I figured, why not enjoy this? So late that evening, after all the respectable seminarians had gone to bed, I got up, went out into the hallway where I laid my clothes on the floor, my shoes, my socks, my pants, my shirt, all neatly laid out on the hallway floor, giving the impression that of all the seminarians at St. Meinrad Seminary, I was the only one that was raptured. Then I left and went camping for the weekend. Now this may come as a shock, but the world did not end on that date. But our Advent readings remind us that it will end someday, either for us individually at the end of our lives, or someday collectively God will usher in God's kingdom. And our Advent readings tell us that we need to watch, prepare, and be ready for when that time comes. Now these readings speak of watching, preparing, and being readying ourselves for that time when we meet God face to face. However, it's just as important that we watch, prepare, and be ready to experience God right here, right now, in this very moment. There's a story told about the theologian Martin Luther. Someone asked him what he would do if he knew that the world was going to end tomorrow. Without hesitation, he replied, "If I knew that the world was going to end tomorrow, I would plant an apple tree today." You see, Luther didn't speculate about the end of the world. He focused instead on the presence. He would plant that apple tree today because he believed that what may or may not happen in the future does not excuse us from doing what God requires of us right now, today, in our ordinary lives. And so this Advent, I invite you to take those themes, watch, prepare, and be ready, and apply them to your lives right now. Watch for the presence of Jesus all around us. Prepare to make Jesus present to others, and be ready to experience Christmas a little differently this year. How can we do that? Well, we can begin by watching for Jesus' presence all around you. The problem with those who look up into the sky to try to predict that Jesus will come on this day or at this time, the problem with that is that they're so busy looking into the sky that they don't see the presence of Jesus around us right now. Someone shared with me this story that happened just last week at their Thanksgiving dinner. At their Thanksgiving gathering, one of the teenage boys in the family, a big, burly football-type player, was roughhousing with some of the younger kids. They were having a great time, and Grandma was wondering if her house would ever be the same. But a little while later, that same big, bulky football player gathered one of the little kids onto his knee and began reading to her. That's the presence of God among us, right here, right now. But if you're not watching for it, if you're not paying attention, you might miss it. This Advent season, watch for the presence of Christ around you. See Christ in the Christmas lights that dot our streets. See Christ in the simple Advent liturgies that the church provides. See Christ in the parents and the young ones waiting in line to see Santa. These are Christ-filled moments. Watch for them. They're all around us. Secondly, prepare this Advent to make Jesus present to others. Find a way or ways to do that. Toy drives abound this time of year. Hopefully you're able to grab a tag off of our tree, but if not, find some way to help someone else. Try this. Walk up to someone in Walmart that looks like they could use an extra help and give them $50, $20, $100. Be a secret Santa that way. Helping someone else is certainly a way to make Jesus present to them. And there are so many ways to help, or simply choose a favorite charity and make an extra contribution. And there are smaller ways that you can do this. This Advent, remember to be patient as you drive along our streets. Be patient in the long lines at the stores. Smile at the cashier and wish them a happy day. Write a letter to someone you love and let them know that you love them. In simple ways, we can prepare to make Christ present to others. Finally, be ready. Be ready to experience Christmas differently this year. Establish a new tradition in your own house, maybe something involving prayer. Pray together as a family in a new and different way. If you live alone, add some prayer time that you don't have right now. Turn off the lights in the house, except for those on the tree, and simply sit in that space for a little bit, and you will come to recognize Christ a little bit better. The good news here is you really don't have to do anything to be ready for a different Christmas, because if you watch for the sign of Jesus' presence, if you are prepared to make Christ present to others, then go ahead and be ready, because you will experience Christmas differently this year.